Terminology. Several academic disciplines may use the same word or term but have varying definitions or applications. Several key terms are defined to assist in clarifying consistent meanings within the proposed research across several disciplines. 1. Education in Emergencies, EIE. A. Education provided to people in areas of disaster, conflict, and other crises. B. Quote, education in situations where children lack access to their national education systems due to man-made crises or natural disasters. Unquote. C. Quote, all situations in which man-made or natural disasters destroy, within a short period of time, the usual conditions of life, care, and education facilities for children, and therefore disrupt, deny, hinder progress, or delay the realization of the right to education. Such situations can be caused by, inter alia, armed conflicts, both international, including military occupation, and non-international, post-conflict situations, and all types of natural disasters. Unquote. 2. Transition. Shifting education provision from EEPs to national governments which have agreed with international non-government organizations, international financial institutions, or other national governments to host POCs, mainly refugees. Transition can be direct, i.e., planning and or education provision conducted by hosting government personnel, or indirect, i.e., hosting government responsible for approval of planning and or education provision. 3. External education providers, EEPs. Organizations not formally in the national education infrastructure of the country hosting those in need of education services. 4. Education. Confined to formal, primary, and secondary learning. Tertiary level, referred to as specified, does not include vocational, training, or adult learning. 5. Authoritarian government. Authoritarian government definitions do not normally, but for this study will, include allowance for governments that are democratic in name, but authoritarian in practice. The definitions will also include the concept of a continuum of authoritarianism in governments where either the formal or informal system may be at various points between a pure democracy and a pure dictatorship. 5a. Any political system that concentrates power in the hands of a leader or a small elite that is not constitutionally responsible to the body of the people. 5b. Of, relating to, or favoring a concentration of power in a leader, an elite not constitutionally responsible to the people. 5c. A high degree of determination by governments of belief and behavior and a correspondingly smaller significance for individual choice. 6. International Non-Government Organization, INGO. Non-profit voluntary associations whose purposes and actions focus on international, transnational, or global matters. 7. Non-government organization, NGO. A not-for-profit organization that is institutionally separate from the state. Most attempt to influence government policy by setting agendas, participating in negotiations, conferring legitimacy on or publicly contesting government actions, and implementing programs. 8. International Financial Institution. 8a. International financial organizations which are subject to international law instead of the laws of any one single country. The IFIs are usually owned by national governments of the founding members. Arguably, the most important are the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. They complement each other. The IMF concentrates its efforts on larger macroeconomic issues. The World Bank instead focuses on developing the economies and reducing the poverty of member states over the long term. 8b. The most prominent IFIs are creations of multiple nations, although some bilateral financial institutions, created by two countries, exist and are technically IFIs. 8c. All IFIs admit only sovereign countries as owner members. Membership at the regional development banks is not limited to countries from the region. 9. Refugee. A refugee is someone who has been forced to flee his or her country because of persecution, war, or violence. A refugee has a well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. 10. Internally displaced person, IDP. Someone who has been forced to flee their home but never cross an international border. 11. Persons of UNHCR's concern, POCs. Among the groups of persons associated with the search for asylum or refuge are those falling within the competence of the High Commissioner. There are 5 main categories of such persons. A. Those who fall under the statute definition and thus are entitled to benefit from the full range of the office's functions. B. Those who belong to a broader category but have been recognized by states as being entitled to both the protection and assistance of the office. C. Those to whom the High Commissioner extends his, quote, good offices, unquote, mainly to facilitate humanitarian assistance. D. Returning refugees for whom the High Commissioner may provide reintegration assistance and a certain protection. And E. Non-refugee, stateless persons whom UNHCR has a limited mandate to assist.